Hello, good evening, and welcome back. South Africa presidential panel backs limited land seizures. From the BBC News 4 hours ago. The caption here saying the radical EFF opposition party has made land expropriation without compensation a key national issue. The sign they're holding up here, yes to land expropriation without compensation. And this is further on in line with the current black leaders, and they're the majority trying to take away from the minority. It's the majority enforcing their will on the minority. It's mob rule, essentially. And unfortunately, when you villainize a group of people and dehumanize them, for example, Farrakhan saying, I'm not anti-Semite, I'm anti-termite, that kind of thing. But then the same here for white people, that you dehumanize them so much that people don't care what they do to people. Zimbabwe would, of course, be an example of that. And recently, in order to combat the racism there, the government decided to sacrifice a goat on the shores of South Africa. Don't think that's going to help. So a presidential panel in South Africa has proposed expropriation of land without compensation but in limited circumstances. Land held purely for speculative purposes or occupied by tenants should be given away, it advises. So basically anyone who's earning money, who's expanded their business out, yeah, you're the ones that are going to get fucked over. Anyone who's successful, you're the one that's going to be screwed over. White people, who make up just 9% of the population, own 72% of the farmland that is held by individuals. And the point being that in 1994, the anti-apartheid aim was to say that by 2014, 30% would be returned, but it's only been 10% so far. So, and that was enacted just over 100 years ago, I believe. President Cyril Ramaphosa backs land expropriation, which is popular with the black majority. I wonder why. Vote us and we'll give you free stuff. Yeah, sounds good. And the BBC main point from this is to say that there is no white genocide happening. In fact, they're linked to an article here saying the group's playing on the fears of a white genocide. Of course, they don't mention that Russia is actually taking in a load of white farmers, and each farmer is responsible for 1,000 people, and the blacks can't do it as well because they're not trained. They don't mention that at all because that goes against their narrative. They just wish to mention David Duke and the far right. They don't say what that means. Just racist. It's like, yes, well, the South African party are racist, but it's against whites, so it's okay. Gotcha. The governing African National Congress (ANC) has repeatedly pledged to accelerate land transfers to the black majority since taking office in 1994, after white minority rule ended, but progress has been slow. Yes, bribery, essentially. Those opposed to land expropriation point to Zimbabwe, where a similar policy by former President Robert Mugabe wrecked the economy and scared away investors. So they now use the dollar. President Ramaphosa set up the team of experts. Oh, well, we've heard this before. Oh, as in recently in America to talk about, how much money should we be giving as reparations to the black people? It's like, well, you can't prove if they were slave owners or not, or slaves themselves, or it's very difficult to. For example, Kamala Harris, who was saying, yes, well, us black people, we should be getting reparations. Like, well, hang on, your ancestors were slave owners, not slaves, so why the fuck should you be getting money? And then it's like, well, okay, so what about the Irish, for example? Are they going to get reparations as well? And who's going to be paying the money because they weren't necessarily slave owners? And what about things like quotas? Surely, or positive discrimination, that is reparations in itself, and it's not going to help anyway. It's like if you took all the money from everyone in the world, distributed it evenly, before long, it would end up back exactly as it was before, because the rich people know how to make the money. The panel proposed that the government expropriate land held purely for speculative purposes, land already occupied and used by tenants and former tenants, land that has been abandoned, inner city buildings with absentee landlords. Of course, with things like this is where, the workers should own the business. It's like, well, you don't understand the amount of administration and managing that actually goes into these businesses, and therefore if you got control of it, you would just run it into the ground. It's to those who had bought property since the end of apartheid should be treated differently to those who had inherited land that was held under the apartheid system. Doesn't matter if anyone did anything wrong now, it's just some other people some time ago did some bad thing, therefore these people now should be punished. Where have we had that before? Oh yes, women's rights in the UK, or just the West. The main opposition Democratic Alliance Party rejected the report's recommendation, saying land expropriation without compensation would further batter our ailing economy. Parliament is due to debate proposed change to the land expropriation bill in October. Right, so they mentioned the land problem, saying The Natives Land Act of 1913, so yeah, over 100 years ago, restricted black people from buying or renting land in white South Africa, leading to the forced removals of black people. After the end of apartheid in 94, the ANC government said it wanted to return 30% of this land to its previous owners by 2014, and it is estimated that 20% of commercial farmland has been redistributed. And they said that they've already got an ailing economy, so it suggests that this isn't really doing good for the country. And sure, you might say, I'd rather be a poor man in charge of my own destiny than a rich man's slave. Sure thing, but when you haven't got enough to eat and that you're not actually trying to be in charge of your own destiny but just taking off other people, then it's not that you want to be free, but you want to be a slave owner. But let me know what you guys think below. Have I got this all blown out of proportion? Is the BBC actually being honest for once? And they're excluding Russia, for example, because they shouldn't be mentioned? Or they're not dumbing down white deaths because they're not happening? Let's not get into some sort of Holocaust denial here, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.